Sairam. The topic for discussion and deliberation today is Prana Pratishtha. Prana Pratishtha done for the idols of gods and goddesses. So, what is Prana Pratisthapana? In which Shastra has it been mentioned? Which idol is entitled to get a Prana Pratisthapana done? And what are the types of Prana Pratisthapana or Prana Pratishtha? Prana Pratisthapana is done for the idol of any god or a goddess or a guru. Now, the idol worship is a preamble or the foundation or the basis on which the pratisthapana of prana comes into the murti. So, first prerequisite is the idol worship. Now, idol worship is predominantly in Hindu Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. But any form which you worship, anything which you worship in any way, in any manner, is idol worship, worshipping a object. For example, if you are worshipping a book, it is worshipping an object. If you are worshipping a cross, a religious symbol, it amounts to worshipping the divine in a form. If you are worshipping the idol of, say, I'm not talking about Sanatana Dharma, I am talking about all the religions. Here it is given, yes. But even in Christianity, worshipping the cross or the idol of Jesus Christ or infant Jesus or Mother Mary or all the saints, all the apostles of Jesus Christ, it amounts to idol worship. You're worshipping a book, scripture, it amounts to worshipping an object. So there is no order, which I would say, which is devoid of worshipping an idol or a object, even if it is a book. However, that is a part. So, but in any case, that is the foundation of the Prana Pratishtha. Now, Prana Pratisthapana, what actually it does? From the days of Vedas, there were no idol worship. Vedic days, there was no idol worship. Satya Yuga. And after that, in Treta Yuga, it started moving in. Dwapara, it became predominant. Kali Yuga is completely off it. Is the idol worship right or wrong? Is it necessary or not? Is a separate subject, but just browsing through, just broaching that subject, it certainly helps. It certainly helps in bringing a focus and an attention to start your spiritual journey. What you are trying to get is not concentration. People say when you go to a temple or worship an idol, you have your concentration on it or in that God or in that divine. So that is why we do know. It is assimilation of your thoughts and emotions. When you look at the divine, what happens is that all your thoughts and emotions, you're not concentrating. It is merging, converging, and becomes non-existent for that moment where you are in front of the divine worshipping. So the logic is like you are in a state where you are looking at the God and you're worshipping, you're doing your puja, you're doing all the rituals that are taking the pradakshina of that God at that temple, or whatever you do. It is nothing but to assimilate and condense all of them and put it to rest, and you are in a state of nirvichara samadhi. You're trying to be in a state of thoughtlessness and just focused on the divine. So that is how the Murti Pujan we can justify. There are several reasons. So that is the basis, Murti Puja. Now, coming to the subject, the Prana Pratishtha. What is it? Every god and goddess has been associated with certain attributes. Like if you go to Ram Mandir yesterday, today we are on the 23rd of January 2024. Yesterday on the 22nd, there was a Prana Pratishthapan of Lord Rama, Ram Lalla at Ayodhya. Now, what is it that we have? See, every god or every murti whom we worship have the attributes. So what actually it does when we do the Prana Pratisthapana is we assertively bring in through the mantras, mantrocharas, havanas, homas, rituals, purification, and installation of those attributes which are defined or identified with that particular god or a guru. For example, Lord Rama is a symbolic, synonymous with righteousness. Lord Rama is the master where if he is there, Lord Hanuman is by default, he is there next to him. Lord Rama is the epitome of virtues. Lord Rama is the ultimate establisher of dharma. Lord Rama is a protector of the meek and poor and weak. Lord Rama is the upholder of the poor and needy, protector of poor and needy, fulfiller of the needs of his devotees and disciples. Lord Rama is a protector of all those people who are under the negative influence of planetary positions. Also, lot of things we don't know of. Lot of attributes of gods and goddesses we don't know. So all these attributes of the God whom you worship is instilled in that murti. Unless and until the murti is not being installed and instilled with these attributes, it is still a stone. Upon pratisthapana of prana, it becomes a live God. With the prana, the murti becomes alive. With prana pratisthapana, murti becomes alive. With all the attributes which are associated with that avatar, that god, that guru, that goddess. So the whole process of pratisthapana, prana pratisthapana, is to bring in the attributes of that god, bring in the life through the Vedic chanting and the havans and rituals into that god. There are two different types of prana pratisthapana. I'll come to that. Also, it is a symbolic gesture for the devotees and disciples to understand the prana, the conscience or the atman, is different from the sharira. Till such a time, the prana pratisthapana is not done, that murti is not going to be worshipped. So that is the reason it is a metaphor, and that is something which we need to understand. Without the Atman, the body is of no consequence. It's not about the life force within us. It is about the virtues, which is about the attributes that we carry. So the reason why the prana pratisthapana is done is to bring in the attributes of the god and the goddess or guru in the form of that murti, and that starts emanating all those blessings, all those attributes from that murti. So that is the prana pratisthapana. This is as per the Agama Shastra. Where is this prana pratisthapana ritual has been described? It's in the Shastras. Had it been in Puranas, it would have been debated. It is in the Shastra. In the Agama Shastra, it is very clearly mentioned what is Prana Pratishtapana. What has been conveyed to you is exactly what is mentioned in the Agama Shastra. This is about Prana Pratishtha. So in Agama Shastra, anything which is above the size of an angushtha, thumb, any murti which you worship, which is more than the size of the angushtha, which is 3 inches and above, being worshipped is not considered to be with the pratishtha, prana pratishtha not being done. We get more murtis from the market, we buy from the shops, we keep them and start worshipping them. It is of no consequence or avail, is what the Agama Shastra says. But that is not true for the murtis of the gurus. Murtis of the gurus work, but murtis of the gods doesn't work. The reason is murtis of the guru, like Baba, his murti or whatever, like many gurus, but let's say Baba's murti, it without the pratisthapana is also there. It works. It has already all the attributes in it. Because the gurus have been seen, they have lived, their attributes are ever there and they are omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. The moment you keep the murti of a guru, it is as good as prana pratisthapana done. But when it comes to the gods and goddesses, you have to specifically do it as per the Agama Shastra. The reason is the gods and goddesses are not from this realm ever. They are descended in this realm through invoking, through drawing them to bring their attributes into a form. However, when it comes to a guru, he has been here. She has been here. Guru has always been here. Was there, is there, will always be there. That is the Guru Tattva. So this is very clearly defined in Agama Shastra. Any murti which is more than the size of the angushtha, the prana pratisthapana has to be done. Now there are two types of prana pratisthapana. Two types and two ways. What are the two types of prana pratisthapana? First pratisthapana is sthira. Sthira pratisthapana, and the second one is chara. Sthira pratisthapana, chara pratisthapana are two types of pratisthapana of prana into the deity. Now what is sthira? Sthira pratisthapana, once it has been consecrated and prana pratisthapana is done, you cannot move that idol forever. The mantrocharas and the rituals and the havanas which are done for that is totally different. The kind of rituals which have been carried out for a sthira pratisthapana is unimaginable. Not many people can in this world do the sthira pratisthapana even today. There are, of course. Like Lord Rama's is a sthira pratisthapana. Sthira pratisthapana, once it is done, if even the murti should not become a bhinna. What is bhinna? Disfigured. The custodians, the yajamans, or the pujaris, or the pandits, or the ones who are the custodians and the guardians of that particular temple and deity have to ensure that the murti never gets into a stage where it becomes bhinna. It's very strict. It's highly regimented. So sthira pratisthapana is not being done in this world. It is not popularly practiced unless and until the custodians and guardians have taken an oath to protect and ensure that no harm shall befall on that murti or that pratisthapana, whatever happens, even at the cost of their life. Now, I'll give one example about what is the seriousness of sthira pratisthapana. We all have heard about Somnath Mandir, Gujarat. Somnath Mandir was attacked several times and desecration was done. The Mughals came, destroyed, looted 7 times of Somnath Mandir. But Somanath Mandir was what the Pratishtapana which is done is Sthira. And desecration of the temple happened several times. As a consequence of it, to defend that temple, the custodians and guardians and their descendants and family members, everybody, men, women, children, over a period of these 7 invasions or 6, 5, whatever, multiple invasions, 65,000 Brahmins died. Young women, old men, children, the whole Khanan, 65,000 people of that Pandit family from all over that region, Saurashtra, Gujarat, all these, they went in order to protect Somanatha and they were all chopped. But they didn't care. The oath that they had taken to protect the deity, where it was a Sthira Pratishtapana done. That is the significance of Sthira Pratishtha. That is how, to what extent people go to protect. So please understand the importance and significance of Sthira. Now coming to Chara. What is Chara? You can, if the Murti gets desecrated, if the Murti gets destroyed, or it becomes disfigured, or it becomes damaged, you can always replace it. You can always say that, okay, this Murti is gone. The Chaitanya remains. There is no additional or extra, or, again, a Prana Pratishtapana is done. They replace the Murti with certain rituals, certain amount of Pratishtha. What is that Chara Pratishtapana? Where did it start from, that ritual? Purushottama Dham, Puri. Every 12 years, ritualistically, Jagannatha, Balabhadra and Subhadra, the Murtis are replaced. That is when the Chara Pratishtapana started. So when it is a Chara Pratishtapana, you can always replace, you can do the necessary things to repair, and you can always keep the Bhinna Murti aside and keep a smaller Murti below and worship. So there are options that you can do in Chara Pratishtha. Sthira, Chara. Most ideal is Chara, Chara Pratishtha. And when you are, I wouldn't suggest, but still, we all have this habit of collecting the idols of God and goddesses and keeping at home and worshipping. I'm restricting myself to gods and goddesses, not that of gurus. Gurus, I've already clarified. Now, when it comes to the gods, goddesses, murtis, and idols at home, be careful. Don't get anything and everything. Just keep on worshipping without knowing what it is. There is a Shuddhikarana process. The murti is buried in salt. We all remember the foot soaking that we do in a salt water. It takes away the negativities. Likewise, the murti is buried in salt for X number of days. Then the murti is buried in rice. Then it is buried in multiple navadhyanas and this and that, everything. And then finally, Shuddhikarana, Gomutra Shuddhikarana, Gangajala Shuddhikarana, a lot of things happen, and removing all the unwanted negativities in the murti, and then only the installation happens. So what we do? We get a murti, keep it, worship, without knowing what is there in it. Every object, remember, emanates certain energies. You don't know what you have got. People don't know. They just bring something from the market, or somebody has gifted you. That I have already clarified. Gifts of any gods and goddesses, murtis, you're not going to accept or worship. Or the photographs of gods and goddesses, you're not going to accept or worship. Very clear. Because you don't know whether it is good for you or not, whether it's going to protect you or destroy you. We don't know. The sankalpas are the ones which matters. So what I'm trying to say is don't just go around what sankalpa is done with that object or a photograph or a murti. We don't know. We should be very clear about these aspects. Best is to not have anything. Worship the indwelling God or a guru. That's the best thing, right? Now this is Chara and Sthira Pratishtha, right? Two types of Pratishtha. Now, what are the two ways of Pratishtha? One is based on the Agama Shastra, Agama Sampradaya, which is Shastrokta ritualistic mantrocharas. Everything in a ritualistic way it has been done. The other way of consecration is Sankalpena. No mantrochara, no ucharanas, no rituals, nothing. Shuddhikarana with Gangajala and Sankalpa and energizing that Murti with all the attributes into that Murti, and that moment it starts functioning as a living god or a goddess. So two ways. Which ways of Pratishtapana? One is ritualistic way, which is called the Agama Shastrena. The other one is Sankalpi. Two types of consecration or Prana Pratishtapana into the moon. Thank you very much, Saira.